And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight Hocus Pocus Live and lots of other things as well. And I have the pleasure of having Summer Orlando of Summer Orlando Productions as my guest today. And Summer, thanks so much for being here. It's so great to have you.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Deborah.
Well, you know what I like to do with the show is to introduce the guest to the viewer. So why don't you take us back into your background? Tell us about yourself.
Sure. So I am 31. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, and I am known as New England's premier live singing theater drag entertainer and illusionist. I started drag about 12 years ago and going on 13, and I've been doing it professionally for about 8 now. And I have a fabulous show called Hocus Pocus Live that is touring this year all over Connecticut to 5 amazing venues. I come from the theater world. I've done theater. I dabble in children's theater and a bunch of other things. And what else can I tell you? I'm the first male actor to ever play the role of Dorothy in a licensed production of The Wizard of Oz in the world. And I have my own production company where I produce my own parodies, my own shows, performances. I perform all over the New England area at breweries, wineries, theaters, and everywhere in between. And I travel all across the U.S. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Summer, did you think growing up that you were going to be a performer? Did you think that you'd even create your own production company?
That's a great question. So I've always known that somehow, some way I was meant to be a performer. My mom likes to say I came out of the womb with a microphone in my hand and a song in my heart. And so when I was growing up, I did a lot of community theater. And that's how, my love for the stage started. And then when I was in college, I started discovering other outlets of ways to perform and do theater. And I was doing a production of the Rocky Horror Show, which then led to getting discovered by a local drag performer and who gave me an audition and a chance to do drag. And kind of that led me to create my own show and just kind of fall in love with the world of drag as a performer. I did not study, like in college, the performing arts. It's kind of self-taught, and I did go to an arts magnet high school growing up. But yeah, I've always loved the arts, and I've always loved performing.
Now, when you're saying as a drag performer, a lot of people hear it, but they don't really know what it means. What does it mean to you?
Sure. So as a drag performer, it means that I impersonate the gender of the opposite form, which would be a female. So it's female impersonation. However, it's not to make fun of women. It is to honor them. And it is a way that I get to play the most iconic characters in, television, movie, and any kind of history, and put my own spin on it. It is a great way to take an audience into my world for a little bit, and it's very sparkly. It's big hair, it's big makeup, and big personality, and it's a lot of fun. And my drag is, suitable for everyone, including children. I like to say from 6 to 60, you could come to a show of mine and enjoy it and have a great time.
Did you ever think growing up or as an adult that film or television or video or any other kind of platform would be something that would interest you besides theater?
Yes, that's a great question. So with doing community theater and things like that, I also dabbled at doing a bunch of extra work on television. So believe it or not, you could probably spot me on every network cop show from SVU to CSI to all the big hits on there. I did a lot of filming and stuff like that in New York. I've also did a bunch of educational videos when I was a kid. I had an agent a very, very long time ago when I was a child, and it kind of just grew from there. I always knew that my platform, wherever I was going to end up, was going to be on a stage or in front of a camera or just present being, the performing aspect of it.
Now, one of the main reasons that you're here is Hocus Pocus Live. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Tell us what it's all about.
Sure. So Hocus Pocus Live is my original parody musical creation, celebrating 7 years this year of sold out performances. I am so grateful that it has been so successful as it was, because it just started that it was supposed to be a one-off. We were supposed to do like a 30-minute little skit, and it was so well received, and that event sold out so fast that we did it again the next year, and then the next year, and it just grew and grew and grew, and more money was put into the production, and more jokes and more comedy and more scenes, and the next thing you know, I have a full-length production that I can't wait to share the new version with everyone in Connecticut this year. So basically, it's the best bits of the movie. If you're a fan of the cult classic Disney film Hocus Pocus, starring Kathy Najimy, Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, as three wacky witches from Salem, we take the best bits of that movie and put it live on stage with our own twist. And I think for people who love the film, for people who've never seen the film, it works for any audience. And whether you have a background in knowing the movie, when you leave, you'll feel like as if you just watched the movie. And then maybe you'll go watch the movie and check it out on Disney Plus or wherever it's streaming or on TV or something. This show also got me an amazing opportunity. Disney called me last year, 2 years ago, and asked if I wanted to be a Winifred Sanderson lookalike for Hocus Pocus 2, the sequel film. So I was actually in the movie. I made 3 scenes, but the main scene that I'm in is the Sanderson sister lookalike contest, and I'm down below in the front row in front of Kathy Najimy, and it was a fever dream come true. I mean, if you told me when I was younger that I would end up in a Disney movie, I never would have believed you, but it was so cool. I shot 5 days in Newport, Rhode Island, and then we did pickups in Providence, and it was absolutely fantastic. The witches did all practical effects, so they were flying over my head, and I got to dance and pretend I was bewitched under the witch's spell, and we got to do the classic witch walk. It was very, very cool. And so because of that, Disney, knowing that this is my job, they allow me to put on my marketing material as seen in Hocus Pocus 2, which obviously helps with ticket sales and helps get my name out there, which is absolutely amazing. I'm not endorsed by Disney. This is no way an affiliation to the Walt Disney Company in any way. This is a parody. We are impersonators, professional impersonators and lookalikes. And but it is our love letter. It's not to poke fun at the property. It is definitely our love letter as fans to bring this show to the masses.
Did you think when you've watched all of these movies through your life that you would focus on Hocus Pocus? What made you do that? There's certain movies in everybody's life that just like clicks with certain people. One of the other giant movies that literally shaped who I am is The Wizard of Oz. And so having a previous opportunity to direct, produce, and star in a licensed production of The Wizard of Oz, I got the chance to play Dorothy. And I got the approval from the licensing company because I pitched it so well that they couldn't say no. And it was so well received, and it kind of blurred the lines of drag and theater, making it work in the same space in a safe environment for all ages to experience it. So with Hocus Pocus, this was a movie also that I grew up watching as a kid. It came out when I was born, which was 1993. So this movie is as old as I am, and as it grows, I grow. And so the show grows as the movie and the franchise grows as well. But yeah, I never really saw myself like taking any of these movies and going anywhere with it. But when I see opportunities and my mind starts working and I come up with these amazing ideas and concepts, I just let loose and I can't be stopped. And I don't take no. Like I find every opportunity and I figure out a way to make everything that I want to do possible. You brought some pictures, so why don't we take a moment and roll them if we can?
For sure. Enjoy.
Okay. I'm not sure if you can see them. Are we going to just roll them, or can he talk? Okay.
Can I talk over these?
Can you see them?
I can.
Okay, where are we now?
Right now, we're at the Warner Theater from last year's production of the show. This was in the Nancy Marine Studio Theater. This was our hour-long version, which was our newest version last year, and it sold out so fast that we had to add a second performance. This was a great space, and we're coming back this year with this version there for 2 nights, and I can't wait to return.
Great. Next. Oh, here's a great
These
shot.
are my sisters. So this is Barbara Jones Street Sand as Mary, and Miranda as Sarah Sanderson, flying on Mary Sanderson's favorite flying choice, which is the vacuum cleaner. And it's our logo for the show, one of the logos for the show. And these are the sisters as well. Again, another logo and merchandise. I actually have the picture you just showed on my shirt. This is one of our merchandise shirts that we sell at the show. Yeah, really fun. I had an amazing photographer. This was at a specialty event that we did around Halloween last year for iHeartRadio. It was called the Witches' Ball, and it was with the Wethersfield Historical Society. And so we sang a couple songs and did a meet and greet. We also perform all over. On top of this stage show, we have cabaret shows we do, and you can book the sisters for Halloween parties and everything in between. In the middle is actually my real biological sister, Danny Orlando, playing Danny Dennison, who's the little kid sister from the movie. And this is the witches, talking to her for the first time and seeing that she might be a delectable little treat. And of course, what would be witches without putting a spell on their victims? So we have the kids against and Billy the zombie against the Sanderson sisters in a big musical production number that you'll just have to come see the show to find out what it is. And this is me as Winifred Sanderson. This was one of the photos that actually got me the job with Disney. I sent one of 3 of these photos when they were asking to see my makeup and how I look as the character, and this was one of the ones. And this is actually 2 of 3. And there's book, the spell book of Winifred Sanderson. That's my replica that I had made by an amazing artisan who makes amazing props. And this is actually at my home studio that I set up for Halloween time, because I do Winifred Hocus Pocus bingos from my house virtually with corporate companies, which you can also book. Also, this is our poster that lists all of the venues where you could come see Hocus Pocus live, flying to a venue near you in Connecticut. We're playing 5 Connecticut venues, 2 Broadway-sized houses, meaning 2,800-seat theaters. And in 2 of these places, we are actually flying live on stage, courtesy of ZFX Flying Effects, which is the company that flies Wicked, the Broadway National Tour.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back.
Better Business Bureau has received thousands of complaints related to travel insurance. Many don't realize that it doesn't typically cover the cancellation of a trip out of fear of traveling or concerning travel advisories unless you purchase a policy that includes cancel for any reason coverage. And even then, certain things are listed as exclusions. So you must read the fine print. Before purchasing travel insurance, consider that travel insurance is intended to help with unexpected events, not things like forecasted hurricanes. Once an event is a known event, meaning it's been forecasted or anticipated, it may not be considered a covered reason for cancellation if a traveler books a trip after that date. Before purchasing a policy or trying to file a claim, read the specifics on what the policy does and doesn't cover. You can find more travel tips at bbb.org/travel.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. And my conversation continues on with Summer Orlando. And Summer, you were mentioning some dates in 2024. How far do you book out? Have you thought about 2025 yet?
Honestly, so we usually book a year in advance with this show because it is so large and it's a lot to put together. I mean, we have incredible sets. I have a cast of 10, and that includes understudies for all the characters, and it is definitely a full-time labor of love. So with this year's tour, we started last year planning it out and booking it. So yes, we are starting to book out for 2025. I'm hoping if everything goes well, right now I'm in search of a producer, any producer that's interested in coming aboard and joining our Hocus Pocus team. I'm looking to put together a US tour for this show because honestly, I need it to go outside of Connecticut because more people need to see this fantastic show that I've worked so hard to produce. I want the whole world to be able to see it.
Speaking of that, I was going to ask you, have you been outside of the state of Connecticut? Is your dream to be throughout the U.S.?
Yes. It would be a dream to do a U.S. tour. I would love to perform in Florida, get as close to Disney World as possible. Big time goals. I like to put things out in the universe. There's an amazing stage show at Disney World, which, it's always also been a dream to work for Disney at Disney World as like a character. And I dream of being the first male Winifred, Friends of Winifred, for the stage show there, which would be incredible. And who knows? I never say never because when things tend to happen in my line of work that are just the impossible is happening, and it's so magical.
Have you thought about doing anything else besides Hocus Pocus Live? Is there any other kind of something that moves you?
Absolutely. I have a bunch of shows that I do. That are like in the archive. There's a couple shows that I've done in the past. I also produce like actual stage shows. So I've personally directed productions of like Steel Magnolias. I talked about The Wizard of Oz. I did a parody of Death Becomes Her, the movie, and we turned it into a stage tribute show as well, which was done a couple years ago. That may make a comeback someday. We'll see, especially with the new Broadway musical coming out. That's out now on Broadway. And when I find a project that like piques my interest or I think it's interesting and that I could put my own spin to it, I'm always creating. I also tend to create these things very late at night. I'm a night owl, so I get most of my best ideas at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Let's talk about the website, hocuspocusliveofficial.com. What will the viewer find when they visit it?
So when you visit it, it is very interactive. I wanted it definitely to have a Disney vibe to it. So when you go on, there's a lovely sign and viewers can click and light the black flame candle themselves, just like the kids do in the movie. And if you do, the Sanderson sisters may appear in front of you. You also get to see some visuals of our actual set that we use in the show. There's an about the show with a synopsis of what you can expect. There's testimonials from people who've seen the show, from original cast members of the movie to designers of the movie to just regular audience members who have come to see the show, kids, adults alike. And there's photos, just like the ones that we saw today, that are on there, as well as some video clips. And all of our show dates are, you can click to find tickets to all of the places we're going to. And you can even book the sisters for your own special event, or if you're a theater looking to bring us to you, we also do that as well.
Now, there are probably some actors because the program deals with arts, entertainment, and culture, but we get a lot of performers that watch the program. How does an actor be able to present themselves to you? Do you let them audition?
Absolutely. So for this year's tour, I actually had open casting auditions for the majority of the characters, and also I was auditioning for understudies this year, and I found the most incredible cast. So last year's cast, the majority of everybody is coming back, because what I do is if you work with me, it's on a year-to-year basis. So if you had a great time and you want to return, you are offered that role like immediately as like first dibs. You did it, the material, so I'm happy to continue to work with you, and welcome to the family. With new people, I'm always open to finding the next great talent out there, and I have found the most talented understudies this year. Some drag performers, some actors from the community theater world in Connecticut, some really big names that you might know like locally in Connecticut, and they're so amazing, and they work just as hard as the main cast. And, they deserve so much love as well because they do just as much work as we do. They are definitely the superheroes. Like if anything goes wrong, they're ready to jump in at a moment's notice and play the parts. So I'm always looking for new people to join the Hocus Pocus family. I'm also, looking for production people and things like that to help the behind the scenes magic as well.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you, we have those individuals as well. Is it, when you go to a facility, are you using their production crew or are you bringing your own staff as well?
It depends on the venue. So if we go into a union house that's like the Palace Theater where we're performing in Waterbury, Connecticut, there's a lot more strict rules. They have their own team of people that are in charge of running everything and doing everything. I do have a stage manager named Heather who travels all around with us to all the venues, and she calls the show, which means she calls the lighting cues and the sound cues and, lets the production people in the booth know when to cue music tracks and video effects and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's mainly volunteer-based, who wants to be in the production team. I usually love to have college kids involved, and I write off, extra hours, extracurricular hours and things for that. Anything to help kids get involved with the arts too. I love doing that.
Now, also, you have a show and you're looking for a venue. Somebody who has a show that's watching the program is saying, how do I get a venue? How do you negotiate with a location that you would like to perform at?
That is a great question. So first off, the number one rule, patron the place that you're looking to work in. Okay, you must show support to the business. Go see one of their shows that they're doing over there already. If it's a place that, they're selling alcohol, like a winery or a brewery, buy a drink and support their business. And then it's all about the pitch. So I've never shared this information before, so I'm happy to share this. So basically, I create a pitch email and I send it out to the powers that be over at the venue, and I try to set up a meeting. Usually in that pitch, you send video footage of past performance footage, you send photos, you send, how long you've been performing and why you would be a good fit at said venue. You really got to sell yourself as like, why do they want you? And so once you do that, I set up a in-person meeting, because I always find that when you're trying to negotiate something, it's always better to do it face-to-face, because talking, virtually or through emails, there's no personality behind it. And I really like to show people how passionate I am about the stuff that I do. And that's kind of it. And then you kind of can feel the vibe if it's a good fit or not when you're in front of the people that you're going to be working with. And 9 times out of 10, when I do a business meeting, I end up booking a deal with the venue and creating a partnership that is very long-term, and it's wonderful. I love all of the venues that I work at currently, and they are all so kind, so sweet, and believe in the work that I do as well.
Now, on the website, it says that you've been doing this for 7 years. Do you foresee this lingering on or going on, or whatever the proper term is, for many years to come?
I would love for this show to continue as long as possible. I mean, everyone that is a Hocus Pocus fan right now, our fingers are crossed that Hocus Pocus 3 is soon on its way. With Hocus Pocus 2 being such a success, I was able to include material from Hocus Pocus 2 into Hocus Pocus, the original Hocus Pocus movie. So it kind of elongated my show and gave me more material to work with. So every movie thus forth that comes from the franchise is just more material that I use to keep the longevity going. But even if there isn't a third movie, it is just beloved by everyone. It has a cult following, almost like as much as the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I will continue to do it as long as people love it and continue to come see it.
We are slowly beginning to start to run out of time, but do you have somebody, or do you write what you perform on stage?
So that's a great question. I do a little bit of both. So 9 times out of 10, I write all of my own material, all of my own jokes. A lot of my stuff is improv. So at a typical drag show, not like a full stage production, when I'm at a winery or like doing a cabaret style show, a lot of it is based off the energy of the audience. So just like regular theater, you feed off the energy of the audience and the applause and all that stuff. So a lot of my jokes are in the moment things, but I plan my set list ahead of time. Just like a regular show, there's rehearsal, there's behind the scenes things that happen. I mean, right now we're in rehearsals for Hocus Pocus, and we've had about 5 Sanderson sister rehearsals right now, just getting the music memorized and down, and all of our new stuff and choreography, which is dancing, all the movement in the show. So yeah, I do all of that myself. I'm also a choreographer, so I do all of the dancing. I put all the choreography together, all the staging of the show, how I want it to look. Yeah, I do it all. I wear many hats.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you. We have run out of time, so I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Deborah. It has been a pleasure, and I hope that you get a chance to come see the show, and all of your viewers come see all the Hocus Pocus that's coming to Connecticut.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.